Have you noticed the smile? That strange, frozen smile that doesn't reach the eyes. You see it everywhere, on the subway, on your screen, in the mirror. It's always there, but there's nothing behind it. We live in a time where everyone's smiling, but no one feels anything. Scroll through your feed. Perfect teeth, perfect lighting, perfect captions. And yet, underneath all that, a flat line. Millions laugh in reels, but fall asleep numb. We post emojis we don't believe in. We type LOL with dead fingers. And somehow, that became normal. But here's the real question. When did real joy become something you need a prescription for? Why is it easier to get a pill than to feel alive? Because this isn't just about sadness. This is about emptiness. This is about a whole generation, emotionally unplugged, numbed into silence, learning to perform happiness instead of feeling it. It used to be that a blank stare meant something was wrong. Now, it's just life. People talk about not feeling like themselves, but the truth is, they can't even remember what themselves felt like. Because what used to be called apathy now has a marketing plan. Wake up. Take something for focus. Crash. Take something to sleep. Smile. Swipe. Repeat. We've replaced emotion with efficiency. We've traded our moods for mood stabilizers. And still, no one wants to ask the real question. What if this isn't wellness? What if this is quiet despair with a brand deal? In the 90s, we were afraid. In the 2000s, we were hopeful. Now, we're just sedated. Not peaceful, not grounded. Sedated. This is the era where emotions are treated like glitches, where discomfort isn't something to feel, it's something to fix. Anxious? There's a pill. Lonely? There's a pill. Can't get out of bed? There's a pill for that too. We've medicalized the human experience and turned pain into a chemical error. Walk through a city street or sit on a train and count how many people are staring at screens, glassy-eyed, half-present, checked out. You can't tell who's tired and who's tranquilized, and no one talks about it because numbing is quiet. It doesn't scream like trauma. It just dims the light until you forget what light ever looked like. Let's be clear. This isn't a judgment against medication. Some people need it. But millions don't need more pills. They need more truth, more presence, more reality. But that's the thing no one sells. Because reality hurts. And we've built an entire industry on avoiding that pain. The pharmaceutical market for antidepressants, benzos, stimulants is now worth billions. Not because we're broken, but because we're not allowed to feel broken. Because pain is bad branding. Because joy has to be monetized. We've created a system where the answer to every emotional signal is to mute it. But here's the real danger. When you shut off the pain, you shut off the joy too. You don't get to pick which parts of your soul go numb. It all goes. And suddenly, you're functional. You show up. You do the job. You don't cry. You don't laugh. You're fine. Except you're not. When was the last time you felt something real? Not scheduled. Not for the camera. Not because you had to show up as your best self. Just felt. A moment that wasn't productive, wasn't useful, wasn't content. You wake up. Your hand reaches for the alarm, not with energy, but with duty. Coffee. Scroll. Swallow something to keep going. Laptop opens. And the day begins. Again. No spark. No question. No pause. We didn't choose this. Not really. We just adapted to the deadlines, to the pressure, to the constant sense that we're falling behind, even when we don't know what we're chasing anymore. So we learned to perform, to smile when we're tired, to say, "I'm fine," when we're drowning, to stay positive, even when we feel absolutely nothing. And slowly, without realizing it, we started swapping out our emotions for something more convenient. Functionality. Sad. Power through. Angry. Breathe it out. Empty. Go to the gym. Anxious. Take a supplement. Tired. Try gratitude. It's always do more. Feel less, because feeling is inefficient. And if you're not productive, you're disposable. That's the lie we swallowed. That your worth is measured in output. That joy needs a time slot. That rest has to be earned. That crying is weakness, and numbness is just being strong. But strength without feeling isn't strength. It's shutdown. And we're not fine. We're just well rehearsed. And deep down, some part of you remembers what it was like before the burnout, before the hustle, before life became a checklist. You remember wonder. You remember tears that didn't need permission. You remember laughter that wasn't posted. And you wonder, can I ever get that back? The voice slows down. Breath returns. This is where the numbness starts to break, and something real begins to rise. They told you emotions were inconvenient, that anger makes you irrational, that sadness makes you weak, that fear is failure, and that joy? Joy is a reward for the ones who stay balanced. But they lied. Emotions aren't bugs in the system. They are the system. That lump in your throat? That's not weakness. It's a signal. That heat in your chest when someone crosses a line? That's not instability. It's your soul saying, enough. You were never meant to be this neutral. You were made to feel the full spectrum. The rage, the awe, the grief, the love, the disappointment, the beauty. Because joy isn't something you achieve, it's something you touch, like fire, like rain. But you can't get there through control, or optimization, or another prescription refill. You get there through presence, through pain, through risk. You can't numb the darkness and expect to feel the light. It's one nervous system, one life, all or nothing. And maybe that's what scares us. Because to live without the filter means to sit with your raw, unedited self, to stop running, to stop fixing, to stop proving. And in that stillness, something breaks open. You might cry. You might laugh without knowing why. You might feel it all at once, the things you buried just to survive. But that's how it begins. not with control, not with healing apps, not with a morning routine, but with a moment, a breath, a truth you stop avoiding. You don't need more balance. You need more honesty. Because the more you try to suppress what's real, the more disconnected you become. And the body knows. The body always knows. Real joy doesn't live in performance. It lives in permission. This is where everything lands. It's not a conclusion. It's a return. A call to live without armor. Don't smile if you don't want to. Don't say you're okay if you're not. Don't keep numbing yourself just to be easy to be around. Because the world doesn't need your plastic smile. It needs your truth. You have a right to be angry, to be tired, to be overwhelmed. You have a right to cry without apologizing for it. You have a right to feel everything. And maybe you forgot what that even means. Maybe it's been years since you felt real joy without trying to earn it. Maybe it's been even longer since you felt anything without asking, is this normal? But there's nothing normal about being this detached from your own soul. So no, don't fix yourself. Don't optimize your feelings. Don't track your happiness on an app. Just be here. Be messy. Be honest. Let your chest crack open, even if it hurts. Because only in that breaking does something alive come through. You are not a malfunction. You're not a diagnosis. You're not a performance. You are a human being, which means you were built to feel. Not occasionally, not when it's convenient, but fully, now. And if you let yourself go there, if you stop pushing it down, if you stop filtering your soul just to fit in, you might feel something you haven't felt in years. Not just peace, not just calm, joy. Not the kind that comes from a like count, not the kind you fake at dinner, the kind that comes out of nowhere and feels like home. It doesn't come in a bottle. It doesn't come with instructions. It comes when you stop pretending. And in that moment, maybe, just maybe, you'll remember who you were before the world told you to be quiet, before the smile turned plastic, before the pill muted the soul, before feeling became optional. You were never meant to be numb. You were meant to be alive.